to Waking God's Child podcast and YouTube channel. I'm here with my co-host Candy Nelson, and we are going to be on the subject of Morgellons, the depths of despair and deception, which there is much of that going on with this disease, this very, very important disease that people need to know about, right, Candy?
Oh, yeah.
We got to start somewhere, and maybe we should baby step our way in from the very beginning again. I think there's a lot of people that don't understand what Morgellons is. You know, I know we have a podcast about it, but maybe we should baby step our way into, signs and symptoms, how, it's like, for instance, you first recognized that there was something wrong and where we turned to look, like we were just talking about. So what do you think? Does that sound pretty good?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. Anything else you want to talk about? I'm going to let you start from here, though. I'm just going to ask you, I'm going to ask you a question real quick, though. We were talking about a book that was written recently with the misspelling of Morgellons on the back. That was lacking an R, right? It was like Morgellons.
Yes.
I'm just curious, how does someone misspell that multiple times in a book? And this was a little nurse, right?
Yes.
How do you misspell that word multiple times when you're writing a book, and it's been recently that the book was written, you told me. How does that happen, and what are your thoughts on that, with that taking place?
I was bumfundle baffled. I'm like, okay, I think the book was probably written about 6 or 8 months ago. I'm not really sure on the time frame. But supposedly she was a nurse for like 25 years and supposedly recovered from this and wrote a book about it. Well,
you don't know what it's called. You can't spell it right.
Well, yeah. And then when I saw the link to the book and I clicked on it, I was curious. I'm like, and then I look at the back cover and it said Morgellons. And I was like, Morgellons? What happened to the art? And I'm like, yeah. So I even commented, I said, hey, I don't remember exactly what the wording was, but I called her out on it. And I'm like, is it that way throughout the entire book? Did you call it Morgellons all throughout the entire book?
How do you
She never replied back.
Yeah, I mean, and I'm glad you did, because here's the thing. We already have enough, misconstrued things going on to where
but
they
that's important. That's important when you're writing a book. When you're writing a book about that subject and all these people, and you're supposedly trying to help people, but you drop the R? How do you do that?
Yeah, all of a sudden, just there's no R. And it would have been one thing if it was just maybe on the back, just the one time, right? I can understand maybe a typo or mistake and someone just got in a hurry and didn't proofread the back. But this was multiple times throughout, which makes you wonder. I mean, is it part of the deception area, that I tend to lean towards, along with, all this other thing, like the person you just told me, they're saying there is no fibers, there's not no budge, no. I mean, there's so much deception in this.
Oh, let me read that real quick. So in my Facebook group, it's a public group, and so people that are not members can ask to post something. And so there was a video this person shared and came out there, and so of course I'm going to screen it first. And so anyway, I'm screening through this video to see what it's all about, and I get to, and it was an awesome video. I mean, it was really awesome. But I'm like, so then I get to this one part where, hold on, I've got to find it. Oh, so it comes up with a screen. It says, Morgellons are microscopic, biological, hive-minded, unclassified, and then at the bottom, animals. And then the next screen says, Morgellons are not bacteria, fungus, random insects, viruses, fibers, regular parasites, or nanotech. So I'm like,
really?
I can zoom in on this.
Newsflash to me.
Uh-oh.
Okay, over a little. Yeah, wait.
I'm trying.
Wow. I mean, guys, there's so much misinformation out there, and I think just the part of the agenda is the deception, purposely being portrayed in so many different areas and levels and manners that it keeps people completely not only confused about believing it, but why would they want to believe something that's got so many different parts to it and people saying different things, or no, that doesn't exist, but yes, it's real, but that doesn't exist. It's a very, very deceptive thing to do. And I feel like it's being done on purpose by many trolls that are placed within the groups. And you and I were just speaking, the individual that has to create several Morgellons Facebook groups, and he's just, thinking he's the know-it-all big it. But why do you need multiple pages? Number one, but number two, is it so you can control the narrative? Maybe. I mean, I'm just wondering. It makes more sense than the other, but
Well, and the first group I ever joined, I joined the group, and it's like next thing you know, he created another group and another group and another group, and I'm like, why do you have like 8 groups? It made no sense. And it's not like, one was closed, one was secret, one was public. It was like they were all closed groups.
yeah, it's very, very odd and strange. And here's the thing: there's so many of us, like many of us have tried to get attorneys to help us with this, tried to turn to any level of help from someone that we can turn to, doctors, the medical, institutions themselves, like Mayo Clinic. We have turned in every direction, trying with all of our heart and might to get help for this, because this is the worst thing anyone can have. I wouldn't wish it on anyone. I'd rather be so sick and probably be in the grave than have to ever endure the kind of pain, emotionally, physically, and spiritually, on the levels that we have. And wouldn't you agree with that? And then we have people like that cockroach and those other cockroaches stirring the pot up, and nobody knows what to believe and what to, And the thing is, we're all still trying to get a grasping for it and understanding for it. And we more or less know more about it than anyone, because nobody would help us, right? We became our own scientists, our own nurses, our own doctors, because
how are you gonna,
their back, we had no choice.
Say Morgellons are not fibers.
That right there, just like, wait, that's the first thing I noticed, was, well, the very crawling sensation, but white fibers was one of the very first telltale signs. And then, of course, they go from there to every color and every degree of paranormal looking activity that you could ever fathom in your entire mind, which I still have a hard time wrapping my mind around. And some of the things, I mean, shoot, I had a sword fight on the floor with a freaking bundle of fibers one day. You saw my video on it. It's like, and it seems like it's impossible, but there's the video right there. You put it in front of someone's face, and they're just like, huh, that's weird. So anyways, yeah, Morgellons disease doesn't exist, and you're just like, what is wrong with people?
Yeah, and when they did that documentary, the skin deep thing, and they said that the fibers don't move on their own. I went on the director's wall, P. Ware, I went on his Facebook wall, and I'm like, wait a minute. I showed him, I put the video out there of the fibers, all these fibers coming out of my leg, moving on their own. I said, please tell me, how can they put that in the documentary that the fibers don't move on their own?
And that's what everyone's symptom is.
Yeah. And so he never replied back to me. I screenshotted all that crap, man. So I'm like, no.
Well, it seems like there's a trend with the non-responsive individuals. There's a trend that
when you call them out.
Our families think about it. It's very strange. It's all hush hush. Nobody wants to talk about it. It's taboo. Doctors, nurses, your family, closest family, your own, spouses, or oftentimes children. I mean, everyone in your life just ears off, don't want to hear it, don't show me, not gonna look. I mean, I remember saying, Dad, please, just like, I don't want to see that. And I mean, like, they refused to look. And it makes you kind of wonder, is there not something programming their mind? There's something triggering in their mind, maybe a biosensor or a little algorithm within an operation system, or operative software system inside bodies, inside theirs already. I mean, I've wondered this. Yeah, we know that it's possible. I mean, hello, how could it not be possible?
Even in my own husband. Well, my own husband, like, I was down on the floor that night. I told you my arm, I was getting electrocuted. So the next morning I woke up and there's fibers sticking out of my arm. So I left them there all day.
Like wires.
And when he came home, I was like, I need to show you something. He's like, I don't want to see that. I was like, you're going to see this. You're going to see
Yes,
this.
yes, good
You
for
know?
you.
Oh
Yeah,
my
I
God.
did. Well, I mean, I made my family look, but it was just like even my sister, my brother, and they just turned their head, and I thought, good Lord, let's just pretend for 1 second that the doctors are right, and I'm just straight up crazy. Let's just pretend, even though there's millions of us worldwide saying the exact same thing, and what are the odds of that? But let's just pretend like in your little mind that's all you can handle. So I'm crazy. Say I am. When's the last time that you didn't look at that? Isn't that a mental medical condition? If someone is crazy, isn't that still a medical, term for, you're medically ill, right? So when have we ever treated sick people on any level like we have been treated? I guess is what I'm getting at. There's just something wrong, like when your families completely walk away, turn their backs, and they're like, "Oh well, we don't know what to think. It worries us too." It's just like, "Oh gee, if it worries you too, like try being me and having people like you be such a pansy that you won't even look because you're more worried about your own little emotions. Try being me with it, suffering, dying." And I know y'all have said that too, and there's something wrong. That's some connection in the mind that's not doing what a human should do. With what we were equipped to do at one time, it's no longer there. And I would say it's just a coincidence, like, oh, these mean, awful people, they're just terrible people. But in this case, I don't think that this can be the case. And here's why. We have not just doctors, not just the medical institutions, not just people that we know or the news, or not just that, our families, like every single individual in the world who was there that was close one time, or your spouse or your children hugging, love you, love you, love you, and then all of a sudden you're sick, and then they're like gone, just left your life just like that, like you were only important for a mere second, and then they just pretend like you're dead. I mean, I actually asked myself many times, am I dead? Is this hell? Like, I can't even tell. Like, I had the worst time trying to come to an understanding of what was taking place. And it was more so, first, it was psychotic, what was happening in my body. But I think what I really couldn't get over the most, and still can't to this day, is the behavior around this in particular situation. When you go to doctors and they say either I can't help, or they immediately write you out for psychomeds, or they, admit you into a hospital against your will, like they did to me for 3 days, taking you away from your children, keeping them medicated and locked up and drugged up where you don't even know how you got there. It's just, what is that? There's something wrong.
I would like to say something about that too. I've said this before, but I just want to make sure that everyone understands. Okay, in the beginning, no, I didn't have any support because I wasn't talking about it. I wasn't talking about it. I was ashamed. I was embarrassed. I didn't know what people would think. So the only way I was able to get support from people that don't even have this was to continue to talk about it.
Yes.
So if you want support,
you have to talk.
Yeah, and so I had so many people that don't even have this, that actually the very first time I told them, they're like, I believe you, and just
there are some like that.
Yeah, and
well,
so
that's where
I would have never found them. Well, I would have never found that support if I had to stop talking about it. Never.
That's what I was saying too. Whenever I left that little facility where they locked me away, the lady's like, "You have to promise me you'll never speak of this again. And you can go home." Of course, I told her what she wanted to hear, but that was my drive to freaking start a YouTube channel. And I mean, I started blabbing it all over God's green, and I haven't stopped on Facebook. And I get tormented. I get teased. I get, belittled and called crazy. Don't think I don't. I get it just like everyone. Candy does too. But who cares? Like, the only way we're going to, like she said, to get people to listen and make change is by opening our mouths and talking about it. And we have nothing to be ashamed of. We have no reason to. And besides that, guys, you have all the support you need right now. All of us in this Morgellons community and all of the communities, we are family. We are your new family. So welcome to the family. You now have big brother, big sister, and we'll make sure that you are taken care of, and you are supported, and you are loved, and we will listen. And, we got to keep fighting together. all of us. We have to be in the fight together as one. It takes one person to start a fire, right? But it takes a freaking army to make that fire like spread like throughout the whole world. And we are
It's like a pebble in the water, the ripples. The ripples.
Right. But I mean, and Candy's right. There are some people that listen. I have people that listen and believe me. They're strangers usually, like she said, for me. Or, they're just like, that's awful. But they give me more of their time listening than most any of my family members.
Look at the guy at Sprouts that night. Remember that? The Sprouts that night? That was so fun.
Yeah, that's right. That was the best day ever, too. The guy's like, really? Chases us to the counter, asking us more about Morgellons disease. And it was awesome because people are listening and people are waking up. This whole world is in a slumber. There is ran by a group of occultists, elite individuals that are leaning for the new world. RDER, I gotta watch what I say. And all of this comes with introducing technology into and integrating it into the human living body. And it's called transhumanism. And it is a thing. It's very real. It's very happening. It is not a conspiracy theory. And if you want to flip me a tinfoil hat to put on, I'll gladly don it for you and tip it at you too. But the thing is, it's true. It's not like we're telling you something like we just pulled out of thin air. The facts are all there. Now you can go fact checker it like my sister was, like big dumb can't think for yourself. That's not where again, you're gonna find it. It's there.
We were watching a movie last night, and George Bush came out there giving his speech about when they're gonna have their new world order, and this was part of the movie, but it was his real actual speech.
He said that for years, yeah.
Yeah, and he talked about where the United Nations was going to be like running everything. And I'm telling my husband, I was like, you see, I've been telling you about this. There it is. That's his speech. This is not part of that program. That is his actual speech.
Yeah. The one thing I've noticed too with all of us, it seems like the Morgellons community, anyone that has full blown Morgellons, and again, I think it's a blessing. We are spitting out the crap that they've tried to integrate into all of our bodies. That's why Joe Blow over here is acting dumb, and he's like, "Oh, we got Morgellons. I'm gonna have a freaking turkey sandwich." No
Morgellons.
I mean, they're trying to integrate it. It is not a conspiracy. They're mixing iron with clay. The Bible speaks about this. I mean, okay, Euphrates River dried up. Red heifers been delivered. I mean, how many other signs do people need to understand that we are living in the times, and it is not this is not fear mongering. This is truthful stuff, actually, because thank God this world isn't our home. Thank God for that. This is just a mere blink, and it sucks right now. But we've all been the one commonality. I'm sorry, I got on a tangent. That we all seem to have in common is we've all hit either a series of unfortunate events with bad things happening, just one after the other. I mean, that bring you to your knees, that rock your world, shake you to your core. And I'm not talking just like, oh man, my car engine blew up. I'm talking big, significant blows that just take pieces out of you and of your heart, a little at a time, until you're just on your knees and you're just like, Lord, I can't do this. And it is then, I believe, and why I feel that us with our symptoms is good. It's then that your body starts expelling the toxins, the poison, all the stuff that they've been trying to integrate through our food supply, air supply,
pharmaceuticals, injections.
Yeah, it's like it's a no-brainer, And when your body starts to expel this, I don't know about you guys, but this is when I was able to see the lies, the cracks in their stories, the lies in our history, the lies in the skies, the lies that are just around it. I mean, it wasn't just Morgellons. Like, it opened my eyes to everything. So it jolts you into an awakening. But I think because your body is cleansing itself of impurities of years from the moment you were in your mom's womb to, now they've integrated this into us. It's been going on for years. It's not anything new, I don't think. I mean, it's an occultist thing. They're mixing iron with clay. This is this is part of the transhumanism agenda, and they baby stepped their way towards it, little bit at a time, so that the general population would not notice, or that they would get so used to seeing through television and whatnot the conditioning of our minds to accept these things of getting implants where we could just, oh, we don't even need our debit card anymore. We're just like, get that little implant, swipe and pay and go. Oh, how cool, like teenager, like that's the next best thing. Let's go do it. Like everyone's doing it. But the thing is, guys, we are blessed. We are indeed blessed. We are spitting the toxins out. We are awake. We are aware. When we came up out of those ashes from those series of important events, of whatever they may be, we rose for the occasion. We stood up and we said, not today, Satan. Not ever, not now. And when the world is still blind and calling us names, still feel so blessed, because I would rather be this human right here that feels empathy and compassion on levels I can't even explain now. I don't ever say I don't believe. I don't say there's no such thing. I don't say I don't believe you. Or I have empathy more than ever. I have compassion, and I've had this newfound understanding in my faith and my Lord, and even the Bible, and there's deception there in Christianity, and there's a big deception there too, and whole different podcast. Because our God is real. Our God is real alive. Jesus Christ is the one thing that's gotten me through what I have. And the only reason I stand today, and I will continue to stand, because who cares if we got anyone else on our side when we got him? I mean, that's like having the biggest, baddest person on the football field be on your team, You can't go wrong in all these persecutions coming from the individuals that surround us. They're going to have to answer for it one day, guys. And I believe that the Lord has a specific amount of people that he planned on awakening and having us rally together around this time. He calls upon his people. Your sons and daughters will prophesy. Your old men will dream dreams. Your young men will have visions. And I mean, every single thing that has been written, almost all of them, have happened and are happening. And I have to wonder if we're not living in the latter part, and we've already, missed. I mean, the other portion of the Bible has already happened, which really crosses my mind. But Morgellons is just a small, tiny bit of the puzzle, and that's one thing I was aware of almost immediately. Because when you go from, oh my gosh, my body's doing weird things, to, oh my gosh, look at this, there's something in the sky, or the trees are weird, the grass, everything's just weird. You see geometrical shapes and patterns, and that to me immediately insinuated and told me that Morgellons is nothing. It's that big. These got to be toxins, because now why can I see all this when I didn't before? Some say alien abduction, blah, blah, blah. I don't say I don't believe that. I don't think I've been abducted. But I mean, fallen angels still all the same, no matter who they are, and they're bad and they're not your friend, and you don't need to go to your spirit guides. Don't do that. Please don't do that, because you're inviting into your world some evil things when you go to spirit guides. But do trust your spirit. Do trust your own eyes and your own ears, and your own heart. Don't listen to what anyone else tells you, and don't let them shame you. You have nothing to be ashamed. You guys are heroes. You're warriors. I've never seen more wonderful warriors in all my life. So, I mean, right, Dandy? Like, you guys are
Hi,
so
Scotty.
sweet. Hi, Scotty Payne. He's so sweet too. Yeah, he says there's a background noise. Probably, I don't know. We had some horrible.
I think Scotty's a female. I think Scotty's a
female. Tried. We couldn't get
You hear
on.
me? You hear me? I think Scotty's a female. Can you tell us, Scott? Are you a
No,
Scotty?
he's not. He's not a female.
Really?
Uh-uh.
There was a Scotty Payne that was a woman that was in the groups for years.
Well, he was Scotty Payne. I mean, this is Scotty Payne, and it says Scott Payne here, but it's the same as Scotty Payne, I think, right?
Yeah, I'm not
I think
sure.
it's the same person. He had a Facebook page too with a lot of stuff on it, and YouTube. I mean, I used to look at his stuff with the stuff in the sky that he sees too, and because I was seeing all of it. So, yeah.
Well, Scott,
about saying that, the fallen ones are everywhere.
We're talking about the deception amongst the Morgellons world, and Oh, no, I'm a male. Thank you for clarifying
Yeah,
that.
he is. I knew it.
Yeah, but we're talking about all the deception that goes on with all of this, and in the groups and the YouTube videos, and it's like the doctors and our families,
That
and
can't be because they're just mean. That's because they're being ran by software. I really believe that. I mean, it's been integrated into the human system. It has. Ours is just spitting it out. Theirs is operative and up and running and being controlled by an algorithm. I believe that so much. I can't even tell you. Doesn't mean I'm right, but it makes sense. It makes the most sense. Nanotech is nothing more than an operating system or delivery mechanism of some sort. I mean, it's all integrated, I think, in iron and clay, folks. Iron and clay. You're not supposed to mix iron and clay. It's not one thing that we were supposed to do, but here we are, and the whole world is acting strange, not just a few people. And that should be the biggest clue there. We all have the same story. Like our families left. All of us have this story. Our families were there, and then when they got sick again, they're gone. Or we have the same stories. We went to the doctor says we're crazy. We went again and again and again, and they all said the same thing. Now ask yourselves this question. How is that possible? How is that possible? It's really not. And the only way that would be possible is if there was something controlling the human thought process. And again, that's my belief. It's the only thing that makes any sense. I refuse to think they're big, bad, hateful bullies because my family was the best and I love them so much. They're like amazing. I mean, they kind of suck too sometimes, but they're not the kind of people that would have ever done this. And
well,
I'm broken
I mean,
hearted over it, but it's not them.
I think too, like I was telling you about my doctor, it's like the very first day, you could tell he was inhuman. He just almost cried when I showed him all that stuff. And I don't know if I told you about this before. I went into the office one day, the main office, and I'm like in the display window where the receptionist sits, and then the waiting room. There was like all these posters about New World Order and stuff. Remember when I was telling you about that?
Yes, yeah,
And,
that was crazy.
So
So
anyway,
he's kind of awake.
yeah, and then one day I was telling you when I showed him my hair analysis for the Roundup poisoning, and he got pissed off and started ranting for like 15 or 20 minutes about them spraying the poppy fields under the guise of trying to control the poppy, and they were actually spraying their food supply, and he was ranting. I mean, just going off about it. I was like, wow. So he's already awake.
So
So
I know that there's a lot of the medical community that is awake, but I also know their hands are tied. Obviously, the 90% of them are not awake and aware; they're being controlled. But the ones that are, their hands are tied. They lose their license. They lose everything. To me, here's me. What I think about that. Well, screw your license. Do it outside. Help people. First, do no harm. What happened to that?
well,
Like you're hurt. You're
I
killing.
told you what happened a couple of weeks ago with my eye. I went to go to bed one Friday
Love you,
night.
Sheila.
Huh?
She's here. Sheila's here. Love you, Sheila. She said, "Love you, girls."
Hey, love you too. So I went to bed one Friday night, and it's like I felt this excruciating pain in my eye. I'm like, what the hell? So I figured it was a fiber or something. I just laid down, went to sleep. Got up the next morning, did my business, went to go wash my hands, and then my eye, I had this big old golf ball size that was swollen, and I'm like, it didn't hurt. I didn't even know anything was going on if I hadn't seen it in the mirror. And so I'm like, I start trying cold compresses, hot compresses. Nothing was working. So I heated up a tea bag, and I was using the tea bag, and then it started like going down, but it spread to the other side. Well, the next thing you know, my whole face blew up. And this was before I went to Puerto Rico. So anyway,
Yeah.
oh, what? And they live in hell. So, I called my eye doctor. That was on a Saturday. Left a message. He never called me back. So that Monday, I just went ahead. That first thing that Monday morning, drove into my doctor's office, and he couldn't see me that day. So as I was leaving his office, my eye doctor called me back from the Saturday message. He's like, what's going on? So I told him, and he's like, well, come on in here. I go in there, and he's like pulling this crap out of my eyeball. It was stuck in my eyeball.
Yeah, that's it, deeply implanted in it. Yeah, I've had that too. It's
Oh my
awful.
God. and I was jerking him. He's like, well, if you think that one's bad, you better hold on tight for this one. So I don't even know what he saw, but he
See
pulled
what
it
I
out of
mean about like we're freaking warriors, guys? Who can go through the crap that we go through? The pain on top of the emotional. It's like, don't ever doubt yourself. My gosh, you guys are warriors.
well, and he said things like, yeah, you had hairs stuck in your eye.
You know, yeah, they always look for logic. Well, your logic sucks, and logic doesn't exist in this world we live in now.
No, I know what he was saying, but he couldn't say it. He knew, but he couldn't say
Yeah,
it.
exactly. And there are some I do believe no, but I do think half of the population has integrated a software into their human bodies that's been delivered and introduced to us through our food and water sources and other little things that you got to get because you can't go to school if you don't get that little poke there. Because then, but you could go to Walmart with the kids that didn't get it. They can't go to school though. I mean, it never made any sense, right? Like, what are you guys smoking over there?
Oh,
I mean,
you
here
know
we
what?
thought that would make sense. Well, it never made sense to me. And the fluoride, that's just a waste product from mining. Yeah, go ahead and put that in your mouth and swirl it around, swallow it too while you're at it.
Yeah,
Like,
our governor actually passed a law where they cannot mandate
they should have never been able
they
to.
can't mandate that here for the schools for the kids or nothing.
They should never have it, or the immunized spies, because I can't
But
say it
again,
out loud.
but again, we're one governor away of being in the same shape as New York or California.
Yeah, and I just don't even believe in politics anymore, like on any level, because
Scary.
I used to think my vote counted, but
Nope.
I mean, I was a big advocate. Gotta vote, gotta vote. Shame on you for not voting. Don't say your vote doesn't count. Every vote counts. And now I'm just like, this has already been in the works from the day one. They're all freaking related, and it goes down a food chain to a certain.
I was like that too. Wow, I was like that too. I was like, you gotta go vote. You gotta go vote. Now,
Big time. I was just like, I get angry when people say, "Oh, my vote don't count. It shouldn't matter." I'd get so upset. But here's what I say now: your voice counts. Your voice counts. So don't tell me you're just one person. Your voice doesn't count. And I'm not talking politics here. I'm talking right from wrong. Morgellons, the depths of despair and deception. Be a voice. Be an advocate. We have to have you. We have to. Everyone's lives depend on it. But at the end of the day, I think ours is fine. We're spitting it out. We're spitting the poisons and toxins out. But that's not the point. It's going to keep coming from wherever it's coming from. Whoever's doing it have my ideas. I think we all do. But there's no way to stop that unless we scream it from the mountaintops. And it takes all of us. It does. You can't just let other people do it and then want to just complain about it. You got to help too. You have to be actively involved. And I know most of you, I've seen all of you. I know Scotty Payne, Sheila. I mean, Kat. There's so many of you that are just active participants and advocates for it. Thank you for that because you're saving lives. Thank you for that. And don't stop. Don't stop. Right?
Like we were driving down the road the other night. It was nighttime, and somebody was like riding right up on our butt. They had their brights right in our eyes. There's no street lights. There's no lighting. So the brights was like right there. I'm sorry. I have no tolerance for that. So you know what? My little tipper sometimes, yeah, it gets the best of me. So the brights are on, and I did this number right in the middle of the. And George was like, "Don't do that. You know, you could.
Yep.
They could shoot you." I'm like, "Look."
You know, what do I got to lose? That's what I always say. And I know I shouldn't say that. But.
Well, and the thing about it, okay, so you're going to allow someone to bully you, intimidate you, and because you're scared to fight back,
I'll tell you what.
To do it.
Good example right here. My next door neighbor was beating his wife one night. Bloody murder screams coming from next door. I came flying out. It was like 2:00 in the morning, flying out my front door. Not even putting my pants on. I'm in my underwear and t-shirt. Freaking shotgun in my hand. I mean, flying out the front door it wasn't even a question. And about that time, I could see police lights coming down the street. So I knew a lot of people, I'm sure, heard it. So someone had already called. And I thought, well, there's nothing like being caught with your pants off, much less down, right? So I went back inside. And I made it positive that the next time I sat there and waited for about a week. And I finally caught him outside. I just waited and waited for my opportunity to approach him. And I basically said, are you beating your wife? And he goes, oh, no, what? I said, no, let me rephrase that. You are beating your wife. I heard her screams. You and I both know the cops came. I said, if I ever, ever hear anything like that again, or if I ever hear you lay a hand on her, I said, this friend right here beside me, which was my shotgun, and I know I shouldn't do this, guys. I know. I said, it knows how to work. And I said, and it's always going to work for the right purpose. And that's how I said it. And I said, don't lay another hand on her. He goes, yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. And that's what he said. And my sister found out that I had done that. And she's like, you need to just stay out of it. You could get shot. And I'm just sitting here thinking, this right here, those words out of your mouth, I don't recognize you, number one. Well, no, she was always like that. This is why we are in a position like we are, like for people like that, that's just like, just turn the other cheek, just stay out of it. Who are you? Like, we are all one. We are the human race. We are all one. We all are one. You have to stand up for right and wrong. And this is why this world is such a shithole, excuse my French, because everyone's afraid to stand up. They don't want to be involved. That's not their problem. No, it is your problem, because whether it affects you right here in this lifetime or not, it doesn't really matter. It is going to affect you whenever you're sitting there and you're talking to your creator face to face, and he's going down the long list of things that you should have done and you didn't. And he's going to ask you why. And I don't know about you, but I feel so ashamed. I don't want to feel that shame in front of that person, that creator, the greatest of all that made me. That's the kind of shame and walk that I don't want to take ever. And I mean, there couldn't be a worse thing to have to face. So I hope these people realize that, you can only turn the other cheek for so long. But I mean, what does that really make you or say about your character? Not much. Not someone I want to know.
Not only that, not only that, if that was you, if the shoe was on the other foot, and that was
if it was her and nobody come to her rescue, right?
Exactly.
And it's not just, I shouldn't be just poking at my sister. I mean, at the whole, even my dad has told me stay out of it. Just different things throughout my life. You just need to stay out of it, or helping random strangers. You can't go save the world. They're gonna have to go fighting, because I pull over and I help everyone. If someone's stranded on the side of the road, I stop. I always stop. Someone's walking, I give them a ride. Hungry people under the overpass sleeping, it's freezing. I bring blankets. I bring food. I do. And my dad just, sometimes they got to do for themselves. I'm like, you know what, Dad? I get that, but sometimes they can't. And I am not in any place to judge whether they can or they can't. Your mentality, your mind, your heart usually tells you if people are really in a bad spot or not. I said, but that's not even the point, Dad. I said, the point is I got to live with myself at the end of the day. And I got to know that I did the right thing. And I got to put myself in their shoes and ask myself, how would I feel if that was me? And that's what Morgellons, I think, has enabled all of us to be capable of doing. We do put ourselves in other people's shoes. We do try to have compassion. We do try to feel what they're feeling, or that's how we try to understand what someone else might be saying that we don't understand. We try to get in their shoes and say, what was their journey? What was their journey that they were on that led them to this despair that they have now? Or, there's always something to put someone somewhere in their lives for a reason. And nothing happens for no reason. I mean, yeah, there's sometimes just really bad people. Bad people suck. But 99% of them are just lost. They're lost. They took a bad road, and the road got bumpier, and then pretty soon it became a narrow pathway. And after that, the pathway grew over, and they didn't know where they were anymore. And there's no finding your way back from that unless somebody's going to show you where the road is. That's what we got to do for each other. We got to shine the light. Guys, you got to be the light and be in the fight. Be in the fight. Damn it already. Just be the light first and foremost. Be in the fight, especially, because we're warriors. We're unbreakable. Look at us. We're still here, still talking. We're all warriors. If you woke up this morning, got out of bed, you're welcome. You're a warrior. Because you are fighting the good fight with something that no one understands. And you get up and you do it every single day. And you put a smile on your face even when you don't feel like it. And you go at it when you don't want to or feel like it. And you ignore the things that are said to you that do hurt. Right there has warrior written all over it in my book. So writing a long book because there's a lot of you. So anyways, Candy, anything you want to add to this tonight? I'm gonna have to go to work here in a few.
No, I was kind of letting you do most of the talking because my throat is still sore
Yeah,
from that.
she's been sick, guys. She got it bad with the scratchiness of the throat and all that thick phlegm. And I don't know about you guys. Candy and I were talking about this. The congestion and that it's like super glue almost just coating your throat. And everyone else probably feeling that pretty thick and bad right now because I know I sure am. But Candy actually kind of got like sick with it, like cold sick, like not feeling well at all. And we already know we don't feel well with this, but I mean, when you get sick like that on top of this, it sucks.
Yeah, well, and like I said, I was like, I had that GABA biofilm. It's just like it was stuck in my throat. Like I was telling you that night, I coughed up that demon. It's like it just gets stuck in your throat. And I'm like,
yes, I've done that, and it's almost like a demonic sound, and it feels like you cough up a demonic entity.
Yeah.
And I mean, the truth be told, this is demonic. This is demonic. It's made by demonic people, and you know, whether it's fallen angel technology, some like to say alien or this, I think it all came from, you know, we're still singing the same song, guys. Aliens are fallen angels, whatever. It's still the same song. I don't care what anyone says. My way. I'm just kidding. But I mean, the thing is, they taught it to man. Man learned it from somewhere, and it is being done. And there are patents on it, and you can clearly find the patents. They're there. They exist. So, you know, we got to kind of use both sides of the street here. But I do struggle with the other side because I'm not going to lie. I see the stuff in the sky too, guys, like a lot. Stuff that should not be there, stuff that looks very demonic, and stuff that's flying around that's not an airplane, not a drone. So, you know, there's lots of questions here, but I think the only thing we need to do is just have the faith in our Lord that we're doing the right thing and walking the right walk, and he'll answer the questions later. He doesn't owe us any answers right now, but we got to still shout it from the mountaintops. Talk his name, speak his word. That's the number one thing, because I'll tell you what, if it wasn't for the Almighty God and Jesus Christ, I would not have made it as far as I have at all, ever without them. And if you're just getting this, you just woke up with it, you're going to need them. It's going to be your go-to from here on out. And us, we're here for you. So we love you guys. We wish you nothing but happiness and bliss. And I know that sounds like really far-fetched, but I mean, it's coming. It's coming. It doesn't have to be here. But until then, we're here for you. We love you. We support you. You have our support. And if you feel like you're lost and you know where to go, come here. Contact me any time. You need to talk. That's what we're here for. And there's a lot of us with big, broad shoulders and big hearts. And we've all been there, and we still wear the shoes as we speak. But to God be the glory. That's why. So, anyways, I hope and pray you all have a good night. I'm going to save Candy's voice.
Yeah.
Anything you want to add with your throat? I know, I'm sorry. I feel bad for you. That hurt so bad.
No, I was just, I was sitting here drinking that pomegranate vitamin water, and I remembered back when I was itching real bad and I was broke out all over. I got some pomegranate juice. Mm-hmm. Man, that stuff helps itching. You drink it.
Yeah, I like pomegranate juice too. I'm gonna have to try that. Yeah. Hey, you know what, Candy? I was gonna mention really quick. I know that you and you shared a YouTube channel with me today. Yeah. And this woman has a beautiful video out. I want to encourage each of you to go over and look at it. She's on YouTube, and it's called My 30-Year Battle with Morgellons. If you look it up just by that alone, if you just look up My 30-Year Battle with Morgellons,
yeah, but what's her name?
Find it.
Let's get her name so they
her name is, hold on a second.
Kimberly Ann Tarnowska.
Yes. So, and again, it says My 30-Year Battle with Morgellons at Morgellons Disease, the Silent Pandemic is kind of what she has out to the side. But I want to encourage you all to not only go over and look at her video, but show her some support and some love. You know, leave a comment. Like let her know that y'all were encouraged. Waking God Child YouTube channel, Candy, Lisa told you to come over and check it out, and you're just saying hi or you love her. She's 30 years is a lot, Candy knows. It's a long time, and she didn't know that there was so much as far as support groups and ways out there. But I mean, we all need to feel the love. We've been going at this alone, and so show her some love if you would. Go over to her channel, like her videos,
and her story. her story was just so heartfelt and so
I had
warm.
tears. I mean,
I know,
because I
it
felt
was so
the pain
sweet
that was
and I
there.
loved it. It was
It was so
sweet.
real, right? It was. I mean, so if she is watching, we just want you to know you touched our hearts, and because your story was our story, and we already love you. You are loved so much. You have a family, a new family, and if you'll allow us to be that, sometimes I'm a little dorky, well, actually, quite a bit. So if you get a chance tonight, Candy, check out my new Morgie video I just put out. All of you guys, check out my new Morgie, my stupid Morgie video I just put out. Because I mean, he was back, and he was back, and he was.
Is it Morgie Pie? Is it Morgie Pie back at it?
Yep, Morgie in the metaverse. So it is on my channel right now. You guys gotta go check it out. If anything, just call me an idiot and like, what is she thinking? So I like to do anything. I love to be called idiot. Who doesn't, right? For me. So, anyways, guys, much love, much love. You're warriors. You're in the fight. Stay in the fight, and never give up. So we're here for you. All right. Hasta luego, señor muchachos and senoritos and burritos. So, yeah, I speak Spanish. Yo hablo español solo a poquito. So, bye. Have a good one.